Hello, everyone. My name is Josh Barker. I work for Wasatch Crest Treatment Services. This is actually my first live video ever, so pretty nervous to say the least. I don't like being the center of attention or being on video, but give this a shot. Um, I uh, I do business development for Wasatch Crest, which is a mental health and addiction treatment center. So we're primary substance abuse. We help individuals struggling with addiction, to get that help that they need. Um, what I'm going to do today is just kind of go into my story, which it'll be shorter than I would normally do, but I'm honored that I get to be in recovery today and then that I get to um, even share my story. Um, so, just to kind of start off, I've been clean coming up on 6 years. So this is my sixth year that I've been in recovery. I got clean October 27th of um, 2014, and I'm so grateful for that. My life is forever changed because of that. Um, I I used, in the beginning it was pretty harmless. I thought, it was like smoking some pot and, drinking some alcohol. And then, that took me to other things, and at one point, it took me to stealing from every single family member that I had to, you know, doing, insane things, overdosing a bunch of times. One time it was, I was actually lifeless in my grandparents' home. They broke the door down in the bathroom and pulled me out, and I was lifeless, and the paramedics came and saved me with Narcan. So I'm really grateful for that. That I'm here today because of that. Um, Thank you to everyone who's joining. I'm not like familiar with this live feature, so I can't like I can see comments. So thanks for the comments, but I can't see like who is watching. I don't know what I'm doing, but so anyways, I kept continued to use. It took me to jails, and it took me to you know to a point of like where I completely hated myself, and I hated what I was doing to my family and my loved ones, and but I couldn't stop. I went to treatment for my first time when I was 23, and I wasn't really ready. I was willing to do like certain things, and I wasn't really willing to be honest, and I think that's, obviously a huge key is like being honest with, the things we struggle with and where we're at and what we need, help with. Because that's what it comes down to for me is like, I need help. I can't do this alone. And the sooner I realized that, the sooner I could gain recovery, because what I did was I tried for years on my own, and that, never worked. Um, so once I finally took the help that was given to me, because everyone wanted to help me, it's just that they didn't know how, but I had to help myself, and finally surrender to recovery, that I needed recovery, you know. So, that treatment center, I didn't last very long because I didn't put in the work after. I just kind of, went to treatment and thought like that was my answer, and, I should be able to like not use again, right? But I didn't work on myself, like there's underlying, it's things that it's not about the substance for me, it's about like why I needed to use the substance and why I feel like I have to use these things. So and then I can, and the drugs just got harder. The ways and means that I did it got worse. Like I became a IV using addict. And and there was levels that I always said I would never do. Like, okay, I'm never going to, you know, um, do this drug or that drug. I'm never going to shoot it up. I'm never going to do this. And I surpassed all those limits that I put on for myself, because when you're in addiction, like you're just so desperate to get that next fix that you're going to do it however it comes. At least for me, like I would do it however I had to do it just to not be sick and just to not have to feel. Um, So I've had, a few, and then I went to my next treatment center, and I got kicked out of that treatment center because I wasn't ready. And I told the therapist, like my problem is, you know, um, heroin and cocaine, like I don't have a problem with alcohol. I don't have a problem with benzodiazepines. I don't have a problem with marijuana, and that was a lie that I told myself because I wasn't ready to quit. And what happened was I had to go out and try those, which put me in um, some crazy scenarios. I got stuck on the benzodiazepines, and I tried to taper myself off of that. But what happened was I started hallucinating, and some of these, like at the time, it wasn't funny, but now I can laugh at it. And my brother, we were living in Los Angeles, and he tells me that that was the worst time, one of the worst times of his life, because his brother was slowly dying before his eyes. He didn't know how to help him, but I hallucinated, that I was boxed up in a Mountain Dew box and couldn't get out, just like really crazy things. I thought I made my brother wait at the mall one day for like, I think it was 6 or 7 hours because the game and Lil Wayne were coming to pick us up. And if he, didn't wait, he didn't want to go to the after party with us, because we were going to hang out with him. I mean, just like crazy things I put my poor brother through, and then he has a video of me like, stacking these blocks, and I made up my own game. It's called Blue Pill Blocks, and I don't know what the game is really, but I know I was damn good at it, so if anybody ever wants to learn how to play, I still kind of remember. But like it took me to crazy places, and trying to come off of that, like put me in a hospital. I was there for in a coma because of those, so like what I'm trying to say is like it does not matter the substance. If you're addicted to something, it's gonna take you down. Sometimes it takes you down fast, sometimes it takes you down slow. Um, Anyways, I'm gonna skip ahead, and I finally went to my last treatment center, which was my fourth one, and I'm forever grateful that I finally just went, because I was at a point where it was like, why would I go again? Like, I don't know what the point is. It hasn't worked before, but the reason it never worked before was because I never worked it. Like I would only do a few things. And when I went to treatment this last time, and one of my therapists will, I still see her, and she'll remind me like, Josh, the only two things that you said you wanted when you got here were to, one, to be able to stay clean, and two, to have a family of your own, and I get emotional because like those are the only two things that matter to me, like my family and my loved ones and me and my recovery. That's it. Like none of the other stuff matters, and I have a family of my own today, and through my recovery program that I do, I've been able to meet a beautiful woman who is my wife that like I'm just so grateful for her, and that she supports my recovery, and that we get to be in this life together, and that we get to have these two beautiful children together, and when I first met her, like I didn't when I first well let's skip back a little bit. So I got out of treatment, and I was $40,000 in debt. I had no license, had been taken away. I had no car. I was living in a sober living home, and my parents, they bought me a bicycle, and so I would ride that to treatment, and then I got my first job. I was mowing lawns for a treatment center down in St. George, and I loved it, and what I did was I just I really hit hard the recovery down here, and I went to as many meetings as I could, and I got connected, and I stayed consistent. Consistency is the key. One of the keys in my mind is just staying consistent, and that's why I'm we'll have 6 years clean coming up, because I stay consistent. Like I don't deviate when things get hard. When things get hard, I try to step it up. And I look for like different ways that I can be more proactive in my recovery. And and I did a lot of uncomfortable things that I didn't want to do. Like I never, when I first got into recovery, like I could barely talk to people. Like I was so, um, my confidence was so low. Like I didn't like who I was, and I didn't like that where where I was at in my life. I thought I'd missed everything. I was 33, and I thought I'll never have a family of my own. I'll never have a home. I'll never have X, Y, Z. And what happened was, I have gotten rid of all that debt, which is a miracle. I my credit was shot. I built that up pretty high now. I was able to purchase my own home, with my wife. Did that together, and then we, get to raise our little boy. And when I had my little boy, it was just like, like this wasn't, in my view, this wasn't supposed to be my life, because like I had thought that I would never have a life that was meaningful. I would never have things because I didn't feel worthy of them. But today the difference is I know I'm worthy of it, and I know that we're all worthy of it. We just have to believe in ourselves. Um, and then just recently we had our little girl in April, um, which is so beautiful. And we've been indoors with her. I mean, in our house. We go out and do things, but like I get to protect her today with my wife, and I get to do things that are hard because I'm a father, and I get to you know put my wants aside sometimes, and do what's right and what's best for our children. Um, and for anyone out there who thinks they can't do it, like that's exactly where I was. I was at a point where it's just like I knew um, that I knew I couldn't do it. Like I truly believed I couldn't do it, but what happened was people gave me that hope. Like other people in recovery told me, they did it, and they're doing it. So that told me that if they can do it, like I can do it. It just all comes down to work, So this time I just finally did the work, and, my life's beautiful today, and I have this beautiful job that I have. I get to help people, in their beginning stages of recovery, which I'm just so grateful for. Being that tiny, tiny part, of someone's journey is just so special. Um, but I'm, just grateful, that I had this opportunity, even though it's uncomfortable, because I know that, when I'm uncomfortable is when my growth happens. Doesn't mean I'm going to keep doing live videos because, you know, it's just not my style, but I'm grateful that, I can do it today, and I can do things that are out of my comfort zone. Um, if any of you, ever need support in recovery, you can private message me online, on here. I can give you my cell phone after. If you ever need treatment from Wasatch Crest, you can go to the website, and check that out. It's And then through our Facebook, you can always get a hold of us. But that's my story in a nutshell. Shorter today, and I'm grateful for anyone that attended, and thank you for being here. Have a great day.